Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's Monday. The weekend's gone. The Premier League fixtures are finished and Spurs are sitting third in the Premier League. Now, depending on how much credence you give to the Premier League table this early on, it's amazing. For me, what's better than the league position is that Tottenham Hotspur, look at the state of my hair, is that Tottenham Hotspur look like a football team again. We actually look like a team that are very difficult to beat. We look like a team that will keep going, and we look like a team that have got options now. How are we going to play? Are we going to go defensive? Are we going to go all out attack? Are we going to surrender possession? Are we going to have possession? All of these different things, it looks like it's slowly shifting. Now, I on the show last night, big up to, I see Jim and Kate inside the chat. Big up to them for joining me last night. We were talking about fans' reaction, and honestly, it's the extremes are quite frightening in football fandom. And what I mean by that is, I'm waking up today. There's some people putting out posts on X, and I'm not on X. It just gets sent to me via WhatsApp groups. Oh my God, Mickey van der Ven's the best defender in the league. Adogie's the best left back in the league. Bergval's the best young player in the league. Xavi Simons is the best playmaker in the league. And it was just like on and on and on about everyone's amazing. And then you get the people that are like, no, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced that we're good. We've got lucky against a poor West Ham. Brighton are out of sorts. A poor Man City. And I just feel like, don't we all exist somewhere here? I know you've got people there and you've got people there. Don't we exist in here at the moment? Isn't it a case of Spurs fans should be looking and saying, well, this is really encouraging. You know, we finished 17th. You're not going to just go from 17th to title winners overnight. Obviously, I'm being drastic there in terms of talking about title winners, but you're not going to turn into this all-singing, all-dancing football team with swagger and don't ever concede and score 4 goals a game. You're not gonna do that. You're not going to do that overnight. And I think a lot of fans have expected that Thomas Frank comes in and turns this squad into world beaters overnight. Now, if I had offered to all of you, I'm guessing, that after 5 games, get off my chair, sorry, the dog is trying to chew the lever on my chair. No, we've been for a walkies, haven't we? Yeah, we've been. Sorry. It's like talking to a child. So look, you know, if I had said to you all before, after 5 games, 1 Champions League game, the Super Cup, that we would only lost 1 game, you would have all bitten my hand off. Last year, we were losing more than 50% of the games we played. So surely people would have bitten your hand off. But now it seems to have gone the other way massively. And everyone's expecting way too much, way too soon. Hey, listen, each to their own. But like I'm seeing certain people in my chat last night just constantly going, we're rubbish, we're terrible going forward, we're still wide open at the back. You think to yourself, we've only lost 1 game. We've lost 1 game in 7 and a really good chance to make that 1 game in 9. And we'll talk about that as we go on. You've got Doncaster at home on Wednesday night. You would like to think we're going to beat Doncaster. And you've got Wolves at home on Saturday night. Now, Wolves, we haven't found it easy against Wolves in recent years. But again, this is a different Spurs. This is a different opportunity now, isn't it? So for me, I don't think it's about the massive headlines. I think it's about just doing what we do. Beat Doncaster, follow it up with a win against Wolves, and things are looking pretty. Into the next round of the Cup, into the second game in the Champions League with a win, and then we will be in the top 3 should we beat Wolves next weekend. So for me, I just think it's about, listen, and taking the foot off the gas a little bit here. It's almost as though I feel like a lot of people are waiting for something to be terrible. Now, During the games, yeah, we all moan, and that's football fans, isn't it? That's all football fans. Before the game, I don't like this. I don't like this tactic. I don't like this player starting, of course. But it feels like whatever we do right now, it isn't enough. And, I predicted sixth, and a few people yesterday said, oh, negative. And I was like, negative? We just finished 17th. We've just finished 17th. I'm predicting 11 places higher, and now it's, negative. Look, I think that Thomas Frank and his coaches have come in. They've done a very good job. I also think that Thomas Frank is a very astute football man. I think he's very astute. He's very clever. When he talks, you can hear that he's a thinker, that he's going round. What can I change? What can I do? Again, someone like, when you look at the great coaches, look at people like Pep Guardiola, they've got that, haven't they? They've got that kind of constantly, yeah, it was good, but I need to do more, and this needs to change. And yeah, we won 5-0, but we nearly conceded at the end, and I need to change that. And we've got this guy that operates like that. And still, I see people coming out saying, oh, he's pragmatic. And I'm like, is he pragmatic? Or have there been games where we haven't had the opportunity to play the front-footed style football that everyone wants to see? Got to remember, this is a guy that's having to play with Richarlison up front each week. This is a guy that's having to play without a proper left winger, like in terms of a quality left winger. So I think we need to just take our foot off the gas a little bit with expecting everything to be amazing after 5 games. It is 5 Premier League games. I'll get to your comments in a minute, by the way. I will after I finish talking. We've got to, for me, take our foot off the gas and just say it's 5 games, right? It's 5 games in, and Spurs right now are in a good position. Now, what I would say is this. I'm not somebody who massively, I'll bring it up. I'll bring up the table so people can see, but I'm not somebody that massively looks at the table after 5 games and thinks, oh my God, look how amazing we are. Listen, I think it works the other way, right? If you are where Villa are right now, let's have a look at Villa. If you are where Villa are right now, I think you do. You look at the table and go, hang on, 5 games in, haven't won a game. We've scored 1 goal. This is worrying. But we're not Villa, so we look up here and we say, okay, look at that. That's good, isn't it? You've got Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal have all scored 10, and Liverpool have scored 11. So on that front, that's decent, right? We are the 2nd top goal scorers in the Premier League. But you also look at the conceded column and you see, right, who's letting goals? Arsenal 2, Palace 2, and then Spurs on 3. So again, you look at that and go, well, hang on, Spurs again, we're the 2nd top scorers, and we've got the 2nd best defence in the league behind Arsenal and Palace, obviously, who are joint. So you look at that and go, right, good at the back. We're being decent going forwards. We're 3rd in the table. We're level on points with Arsenal. We've got an identical record to the Arsenal, who have just spent, I'm guessing, 300 million plus. I don't know the exact number. I'm guessing it's 300 million. So aren't we saying that's good, right? That's a good start. I mean, look, I'll tell you the reason why. I know people want to go mad with Premier League tables and stuff. I'll tell you the reason I don't go mad about the Premier League table is, look, Man United are a shambles, right? Like everyone would turn around and say Man United are a shambles. And oh my God, Amarim's the worst manager ever and he's got to go. Look how shit he is. Man United are 3 points behind us. And that's, when you've played so few games, you're going to have that, right? The only way you're going to pull away is if you do what Liverpool have done, which is played 5-1-5. And Liverpool are the favourites to win it, so you would expect that. But you look at it, Sunderland, what a good start to the season Sunderland had, 8 points. Same with Fulham, right? City, Everton, United, 3 points behind us. Crystal Palace, what a start to the season Crystal Palace have had. They've lost players, as they always do. Got the best defence in the league. Haven't lost a game yet. What a what a wonderful start for Crystal Palace. So I do just think sometimes, there needs to be a little bit of reasoning. I get it. Everyone wants to be head loss. Now, listen, I got my head loss under the previous manager because it was awful for months and months and months and months. So far, we've not seen anything awful under Spurs. One game against Bournemouth, which the manager turned around and said, yeah, I got that wrong, right? So for me, I think that we should all be sitting here quietly confident, quietly happy. Again, when I say quietly confident, I mean people who are going, oh my God, we're in a title race. No, let's not worry about that. Let's not worry about all of that. Let's learn from past mistakes, shall we? Let's learn from what's gone before us. And more importantly, 53 likes. 53 likes. You lot are having a bubble, aren't you? Please do smash that like button if you haven't already. And we are only 110 away from 23,000. So if you haven't subscribed, please do. And let me get to some of your comments. I'm sure there'll be some that I agree with and some that I don't. And people will always go, oh, why read out the trolls' comment? I read out everyone's comments if I can. Look. Big up to my man, Barbaric, said we have more points after 5 games than we got after the last 22 games of last season. Right. I mean, is that true? If that's true, that is absolutely shocking, right? Is that true? The last 22 games of last season, we didn't get 10 points. I feel like that's, is that true? That's madness if that's the case. But hey, I know I'm just trying to think what we did in the second half of the season. We beat Southampton, Ipswich, Man United, didn't we? Brentford as well. No, we must have got more because I remember in February, I think we beat 3 teams alone. So yeah, but I hear you, my man. I hear you. But hey, it is what it is. So didn't we get 12? So I'm just trying to work this out. If anyone could go back and look, I remember in the second half of last season, we beat Southampton. That's 3. We beat Brentford. That's 6. We beat Man United. That's 9. We beat Ipswich. That's 12. We drew with a couple of teams. So, yeah, I mean, yeah. No. I know. Yeah. Listen. I'm not excusing it. It was really, really poor. I saw a stat today that Ange Postecoglou has won 1 of his last 14 Premier League games against Southampton. So, yeah, I completely get it. But hey, listen, all we can do is keep plugging away. And look, we've got Wolves Saturday night. Now, so far, Wolves have started like they did last year, right? Played 5, lost 5, scored 3, conceded 12, loss. Now, everything about you as a football fan, right, says we're going to win that game. Everything as a football fan, doesn't it? Inside us says Wolves at home, 3 points, bang, easy. Football doesn't always work like that. And this is why I keep my feet on the ground. So when I don't lose my mind, when I'm not picking up my chair and throwing it at Wolves as in the wall, like the wall, right? When I'm not losing mine, it's because I've been here before. Now, this is what we want to see if that's changed. The Spursy tag, the Dr. Tottenham tag. Have these things changed? Right? Hang on, what's that? Doing what? Have these things changed? Because here's what I'll say about football. You ask me, what's the probability that Tottenham beat Wolves on Saturday night? I will say 9 out of 10. 9 out of 10, 90% out of 100, Spurs will win that game. But I'm old enough and I'm ugly enough to know football isn't always played on paper. What I also know is there's been many occasions where these are the games where we sit there at the end of the Saturday night and go, how have we missed this opportunity? How have we missed this opportunity? By the way, just been told to me that in the last 14 games, we got 11 points. So in the last 14 games, we got 11 points. So in a third of that time, we've got 10 points this time around. So thank you. Thank you for that stat coming through to me. I love it. People message me with these stats. I love it. People love football, don't we? So yeah. So listen, that's not in any way. And I know what people will do here. People will misconstrue that and go, "Oh, Savva's not confident about Wolves." No. We should be beating Wolves. But what we do need to see is, I think first and foremost, I think we need to see better home performances. What I will say is I think we've been better on the road than we actually have at White Hart Lane. And I don't know if that's because of the expectations of being at home. I don't know if that's because if that's because teams feel more comfortable coming to our ground because it's nice and it's not intimidating, and we lost loads of games there last year. I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But let me know in the chat. Do you agree with me? I think we've been much better away. West Ham, Brighton, Man City, the PSG Super Cup game. I think we've been much better away than Bournemouth, Burnley, and Villarreal at White Hart Lane. Let me let me know what you think. Again, Saturday will be the litmus test. Are we going to see Xavi Simons starting a 10? And you would like to think so, right? You would like to think now that Xavi Simons will start in a 10. Again, how fit is Xavi Simons? Are we going to see Mawani getting up to speed anytime soon? And obviously we knew that when we brought him in, we knew that he was we knew that he was not fit. We knew that he hadn't played football for a while. So I don't think fans take that into account enough, if I'm brutally honest. I really, really don't. Look at the uproar on Saturday. Where's Mawani? And then like 10 minutes later, we found out that he's got a dead leg. So listen, you've got to, everything with a pinch of salt in football, right? Everything with a pinch of salt. There we go. So Wolves, Finland, big up my man. I said 15 points from the last 22 games. Not good, is it? Not good. By the way, if you would like replica jerseys, I mean, I've got a training top that never came out. I've got a nice training top here. The one with the snake, which was celebrating the Chinese New Year, if I'm not wrong. okjersey.com. As we continue our collaboration with them, everyone's bought their shirts from there and so far saying they're very, very happy. So please get over there. So I don't know what that stat is. The person, hang on. Away. Oh, I see. Yeah, sorry, I see. Get over there to okjersey.com or scan the QR code. When it asks you for a discount, by the way, it's only about £15 anyway, but when it asks you for a discount, type in Savva, SAVVA, and you will get an 8% discount. Please order the size up. So if you normally go with a large, go with an extra large. You normally go with a medium, go with a large. You normally go with a small, go with a medium, yada, yada, yada. And also, go to Match Bingo. As I said, last week, Perchie won on the Match Bingo. I'm not sure how much he won, but Perchie won on Match Bingo. I was 1 goal away, I think, from winning on Match Bingo. It's good fun. So scan the QR code. And when it asks you for a discount, type in fhtv. So big up to both okjersey.com and Match Bingo, the channel sponsors. So big up to you. Bash said, do not play Simmons midweek. Please save him for the weekend, nice and fresh. Yeah, I'm guessing that players like Xavi Simons won't be involved on Wednesday, maybe on the bench in case needs must. But we'll see, won't we? We'll see what happens. It's always a difficult conundrum. And I remember Alan Kirbishley saying this a lot. It's always difficult with players coming back from injury, because you have to be very, very mindful that players are coming back from injury and you're chucking them in immediately to fast-paced football. But at the same time, you've got to get minutes in their legs. And I remember he always used to say it's a very difficult balance. And he always used to say that fans always saying, oh, so-and-so's fit, get him in. It doesn't always work like that. But as football fans, we don't care, right? They go, oh, so-and-so's fit for today. And we go, get him in. Like yesterday, Bukayo Saka. I mean, like Lubo said last night on the show, Bukayo Saka, he should have started him. And Arteta said before the game, like, he's not ready to start. He's not ready for 90 minutes. We'll give him 45. But this is the difference between fans and the medical team and the managers, right? So So yeah, it's all very, very interesting. Yeah, Bryce, their jersey sizing is on the website. It does show you when you click on the shirts, it shows you what size. But all I would say is just go one size up to what you normally go. Just go one size up. So for example, this is a large, right? I'm a medium. This is a large, right? But it just fits nicely. There's a tiny bit of give, but if I go for a medium, it'll be like clinging to my chest like a bra, and I don't quite want that. So yeah, absolutely. By the way, Spurs last season got 17 points away. This season, we've already got 7 away. So we're only 10 off of last season's amount. That's absolutely crazy. That's really, really crazy. Absolutely crazy. I saw a question I like. Phoenix said, away we play more defensive, sort of, because the team has to play with the ball, but at our home we need to play with the ball, which we are bad at for now. Phoenix, is that true though? We dominated possession against West Ham and we dominated possession against Brighton. I'm not sure that's true. I'll happily be overruled if there's any facts and data to suggest that, but I don't think that's quite true. By the way, today we've got a lot for you. After this, I'm going on to Midday Live with Saeed, who invited me. Always nice to work with Saeed. 3 p.m. on this channel, Charlie and I, Football in 60. If anyone hasn't watched it, it's a really good, quick 60 minutes where we talk about all Premier League games, transfer news, manager sackings, 60 minutes, no more, no less. 3 p.m. every day, apart from tomorrow, because tomorrow from 10 a.m. through to 8 p.m., we have an all-day charity special for Caldwell Children Trust, who are a trust that help families up and down the United Kingdom with disabled children. It's a really, really good cause. I'll actually read out to you what the official... So my mate Dan, I'll be honest, my mate Dan, I actually just met him on holiday. He's a Stoke City fan, goes to Stoke City games. And we started talking about Donnelly and Phillips, and obviously started chatting. I had some dinner with them and had some drinks with them. And Dan said to me, "Oh, look, he's a runner. He's a fit lad. He is not anything like me." And he said he's doing the half marathon this on the 28th up in Stoke or wherever it was that he's doing that. And then he's doing the London Marathon, and he's doing it for the Caldwell Children charity, which is it's a charity dedicated to transforming the lives of disabled children and their families across the UK, providing essential equipment like wheelchairs, life-changing therapies, and much needed support. And I just, as soon as I heard that, I said to him, "How much are you trying to raise?" "Right, jump on when you get back. Let's do a charity stream." So I know I can always count on you guys for help. There's an official link to be set up to where to put the donations in for Just Giving. So I'm going to sort all that out later on today. But as it stands, and that's my man Dan. So you can see here, right, that there you go. You can see there, that's Dan in the all blue, not with the hat. You see, they've so far 315 quid raised. They want to raise $2.5 grand, and I reckon we can get somewhere near that over a 10-hour period. So we are going to put that link in tomorrow. That's between 10 a.m. and 8 p.m. So there won't be a Football in 60 tomorrow or one of these shows. It will just be an all-day charity special. So thank you in advance for all your support. I know certain people will always help out with those sort of things, and you know what? For all of the shit that goes around YouTube and the slander and everyone slagging each other off, I always want to use my platform to help. We've worked with multiple charities over the years, haven't we? We've worked with animal charities, the British Heart Foundation. We've worked with the Syria Earthquake Appeal, and now we're working with the charity to help disabled children and the families of those with disabled children. Hey. I'm sure there'll be people who don't care about it and just want to talk football. And by the way, we will be talking football the whole time, but always that emphasis. And Dan will be joining me for a number of hours throughout that. So good guy, really nice lad. And he's the one, his legs are going to have to run all this time. Yeah, Andy's Man Club. Oh, Kate, I'm such a bastard, aren't I? all these charity events. It is what it is. You can find my email, by the way, on it's fhtvsavva@gmail.com. fhtvsavva@gmail.com. He is. See, this is what you get. Somebody just messaged me again. Richarlison has 3 goals in 4 matches and 20 minutes. Perfectly fine output. This is what I mean. We fall into this trap, don't we, of settling for these types of players. He is dreadful. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. Where are we? Let's go back to the chat, shall we? Swoops first said, I want to see Spence, Byfield, Danso, Davis, Paulinho, Barnett, Gray, Thompson, Tell, Johnson. I think the difficulty when you go that week, you are leaving yourself open. I'm not sure that Tell, Johnson and Thompson is good enough up front. That's a lot of children you want to play there. Williams, Barnett, Thompson, Byfield. If I'm not wrong, Barnett is 16, Thompson 17, and Byfield is 16. That's a lot of kids. That's a lot of kids that you want to play there, my man. I'm not saying they can't all be in the squad, but I don't think I'd start all of them. Let's be fair. You're going to have players that need to play. For example, I think you're going to have to get Danso and Davis will play, right? Because they sit on the bench every week. In midfield, are we saying suddenly that Sarr doesn't play, so he hasn't played 2 games in a row? Do we need Paulinho against a League One team? All of these different things. I think Archie Gray definitely starts. And again, what I want to see tomorrow night is show us Archie Gray, play tomorrow night, stand out, be the best player on the pitch. Show us what you're made of. It's a League One side. Show us why you're the best player on the pitch. Show us why you sit in front of the back 4 and do what you do. John, big up to John Bristow. It's a weakness in positions we cannot address until January. But Thomas Frank is doing well with what he's got. Richie out. Yeah, listen, he's doing really well with what he's got. Considering we didn't buy a top striker or a left winger, he's doing very well. And listen, I don't expect to see Richarlison every game when Solanke's back or Mwani's fit. But right now, I'm just frustrated watching him. And the problem is, when people are saying things like he's got 3 goals in 4, it doesn't tell the story of what he doesn't do in games as a centre forward. He isn't for me. He's never been for me. As I've said, he's one of the worst footballers I've seen at Tottenham Hotspur. I think he is absolutely dogs. I think he is dreadful. Good morning to Dylan. How you doing, Dylan? I hope you're well. My man E saying, look at Savva doing nice things for the community. Must be for the view. Yeah, listen, it is what it is. But I feel like more channels should do stuff for charities, man. We've got such a good platform to get numbers. And I know tomorrow, E, right, that we can get $2,000 across 10 hours from viewers. I know we can. Even if over the time 2,000 people watched and put £1 in each, I know we can get £2,000 to help the charity. And what a great charity. You know, what a great thing it is, helping those families with disabled children. What a wonderful thing that is, right? So, hey, it is what it is. We move forward. Simo said you can't put 3 youth players in the starting 11. Look, I think the difficulty you've got, Simo, is you've got Gray, who needs a game. He's 19, right? If we're going to say Tell starts, he's 19, 20, right? If we're going to say Kinski as a young goalkeeper starts, you can't fill the team with kids. You know, I feel like you've got to balance it out. Now, I've got nothing against one of them starting, maybe the other 2 on the bench, but we'll see. But you are right. Thompson is a take on left winger. Agreed, but he is also a baby. I think we've really, really got to remember how young some of these kids, they are children. Some of these are real children. Can you make a team draft for your team on Wednesday? Let's do it, shall we? Okay. let's do it, shall we? Let's look at, here we go. Let's go with a 4-2-3-1 that Frank wants to play, right? And let's do it together. Here we go. Present, share screen. Let's go to lineup builder. Can you all see that? Right. So let's start in goal. I would assume I'll put some in and then we'll talk about it, right? I'll put the 11 in and then we'll talk about it. I'll put it in here. Here we go. So let's go with, I reckon it's going to be something like this. I think it's going to be something like this. I think we're going to see Spence. I think we're going to see Danso. I think we're going to see Ben Davis. And, oh, no. God, who's that? That's not Ben Davis, is it? That's Tom Davis. Davis. Left back, I'll leave for a moment. I think we're going to see Gray. I think we're going to see Star. I think we're going to see Odeber. I think Tell will play there. I think Brennan Johnson will play there. And I don't know about that position there. I think we'll play something like that. Now, listen, this is the thing. Everyone's got their own idea of what this 11 is going to look like. And again, none of us know. None of us know. For all we know, right? For all we know, we could go and put out the first 11. I don't know. I would think it would be more like this. Now, if this was the team, and I said to you, we're playing Doncaster, and you got Kinski, Spence, Danso, Davis, Adogi, Sarr, and Gray. I mean, you're happy with that, right? That team should dominate Doncaster. Now, what people want to see is this. Now, I don't even know if he's there. So Luca. There he is. There, right. Look, there you go. What people want to see is something like that, right? Now, he hasn't even got a picture on the app. So, you could, right? But you've got to ask yourself the question, do you trust that front four against Doncaster? Now, we know Brennan Johnson can get goals, but we know he does nothing other than that. And we know that Odeber and Tell have got the same output in a Spurs shirt that I have. Make of that what you will. But I've got a feeling you're going to see Tell, right? You're going to see Tell because he's not in the Champions League. He's not playing in the Premier League. You're going to see Tell. Brennan Johnson needs starts. Yeah? Gray needs to start. Sarr didn't play or come on in the last game. So he, I would assume, would start. Danso and Davis, I would assume, would start. Do you play Adogi again to get more minutes in his legs? Or do we see Spence at left back and Porro at right back? I don't know. Dude, Dragasing's not fit to play. Dragasing's just coming back from injury. He's not fit to play. I'd be very surprised to see him even on the bench. Right. Does he? There's the question, right? Does he play Xavi in the 10? Does he play Xavi in the 10? We get this game done by half time and then you sub in a kid. I don't know. This team is based on nothing but conjecture from me. Nothing but conjecture from me. I'm just thinking Odeber, Tell and Johnson. If those three can't start against Doncaster and do well, then they shouldn't be at Tottenham Hotspur. But the rest, I think it will be Gray and Sarr. Can I put it out there? Does Yves Bissouma get a reprieve? Do we do this? Do we do this? Do we do something like that? Does Sarr go into the 10 and maybe Yves Bissouma gets a bit of a reprieve from Frank, gets a chance to redeem himself? I don't know. This is all conjecture. Mawani's not fit. I would put him in there. I just don't think he's fit. The fact that we're seeing The fact that we're seeing him getting a dead leg so soon after being here, I don't think so. I don't think so. However, maybe he is. I don't know. I don't know. Again, as I said, I can't sit up here and go wrong, wrong, wrong. I don't know. Maybe Simmons and Paulinho start. I don't know. Maybe one of Van der Ven or Romero. I genuinely don't know. But what I might do is I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a screenshot of that and I'm going to see how close I am to this tomorrow night, Wednesday night. So I'm going to see how many of those I am away from this Wednesday night. I reckon at least 7 of that lot start. Johnson has to start. He's not started for a few games. He's going to have to start, right? Same with Tell. Sar's not started last game. Odeber has only started 1 game. Graham Basuma haven't played. Danso and Davis haven't played. Kinski hasn't played. Sure, I don't know if he's not fit. I don't know. I'm speculating. This is all speculation. This is all speculation. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, swap Basuma out then for Sar and then put Simmons in, or does Bergvall play again? I genuinely don't know. Does Van der Ven start at left centre half and Ben Davis goes to left back? Does Spence go to left back and Porro goes to right back? Does Byfield get a run out? Listen, your guess is as good as mine when it comes to this. What I do know is this is one of them moments, right? Let me just get rid of that. This is one of those moments where, and I see this every cup game, you get half the fan base screaming for all the kids. Screaming for them. Where's Barnett? Williams Barnett? Where's Thompson? I want to see Byfield. And then you get the other half screaming, nah, you got to win this game. Play your best team. Don't get knocked out. Because if Thomas Frank was to play the kids and we lost, imagine the meltdown. So this is where I think managers have that delicate balance, don't they? For me, I think you'll see, listen, if your midfield is Basuma, Sarr and Gray, and you've got Johnson, Tell and Odeber, there's no excuses for not beating Doncaster. There isn't. I'm not knocking Doncaster, by the way, but there is 0 excuses. There is 0 excuses. But you start playing Williams Barnett, Byfield, Thompson, you start putting out all these kids and you lose the game, would you be surprised? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I'd love to see one of them start. I'll be honest. I'd love to see Williams Barnett get a start. See what he can do. I'd love to see it. Will he? I don't know. Thomas Frank will know, is he ready? We can all watch the youth leagues. We can all watch the Champions League youth stage and go, oh my God, he's brilliant. Oh, did you see his hat trick? Did you see this? But doing that up against senior pros, at whatever level they may be, Doncaster, is a whole different ballgame. Now, we've got the advantage of being at home, of course, but we've got to go and trust what Thomas Frank thinks. This is what he's paid to do. Now, you've got another. This is an interesting one. Dane Scarlett as well. Does Dane Scarlett get a game? Yeah, completely forgot about him. So do Spurs put Tell in the number 10 and Scarlett goes up front? Or Johnson goes in the number 10 and Scarlett goes up front? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. But it's going to be interesting to see. Absolutely, Mario. Absolutely. We don't know, right? Doncaster. Are Doncaster looking at the Spurs game and going, this is fundamental that all of our best 11 play? Let's have a look at Doncaster, shall we? Tell you what, let's bring this up on football tables. Let's go. What are they in League One? Okay, so here's the League One table for you. Here's the League One. Sorry, Sam Jonesy said, sorry, no kids play until the game's wrapped up. we play a team to go out and win the game in 60, so then we can cruise last 30. Remember, Jay got loaned there, and they were a decent standard. Sure, but I mean, if somebody said to me one teenager's going to play, I don't think it means you lose the game. I think if you start talking about 3 or 4, who knows? Let's have a look. Right? I don't know, my friend. I don't know. So there we go. There is the League One table. So Bradford City, who are top, and you can see that Doncaster are 4 points off the top, down in 7th. Lost their last 2 though, so they've won 1 of their last 7. They've won 1, lost 6. Sorry, won 1, lost 3, won 3. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, you would be, right? You'd be very disappointed if you sat there and said, Tottenham are not going to beat this team. You would be very disappointed. The same way I'm disappointed only 125 of you have smashed the like button. And the way that I've got a feeling we haven't seen a single one subscriber today. Come on, people. Come on. How poor. But yeah, look, Doncaster. But you look at them. They've scored 10 and conceded 10. So they don't score a lot of goals. Right? So what's that? Averaging 1.1 goals a game, and they're averaging conceding 1.1 goal a game. So should we really be looking at Doncaster and being worried? No. But banana skins happen. And we've got to make sure that we guard ourselves against complacency. And let's be brilliant. Let's be brutally honest. Thomas Frank is a pro. He's not going to let that happen. So there is the League One table. Interesting. See, it's early days, but Doncaster right up there in contention. But hey, we're Tottenham Hotspur. Shouldn't be sitting here worried about Doncaster. So the original Mutt said, "Don't give Billy Sharp still going. Yeah, don't give Billy Sharp a sniff. He will score. Probably a better finisher than we have at Spurs. He's probably a better finisher than Richarlison for sure." Absolutely. Who knows? I don't know what Doncaster are going to do. Do Doncaster turn around and go, right, the best 11 is going to play? Do they go, well, no, we've got a game, I don't know, they've got a game midweek, the weekend against Cardiff or whoever, and we need to save the players for that? I don't know. When people are saying he should start, I mean, you've got nothing to base that should start on. He is 16 years of age. If he's ready, if Frank thinks he's ready, then Frank will start him. But as a fan, we can't say he should start. We don't know that. Like, what you've got to work out as well is there are first team players not getting games. Archie Gray has got to play, right? If Basuma is fit by then, he's got to play. You've got to get minutes into them. Pat Sarr didn't play at the weekend. He's got to play, right? So, and this is always the conundrum of youth versus sub players. You want to give the youth a chance, but what about these senior pros who are paid a lot of money and haven't played for a while? You've got to get minutes into them as well. So I think it's going to be really, really interesting on Wednesday night to see what we do. I think Spurs will comfortably navigate this tie and go through. Who's out already? Man United are out. Forest are out. Who else went out? Somebody went out. I can't remember. Another big team went out, didn't they? I can't speak today. Therein lies the problem, right? Therein lies the dilemma. The same fans that will demand they play will also demand the manager's head if we lose with those kids playing. Now there's a risky strategy, right? Now, again, see, Mappin doesn't listen, hasn't been here listening. Of course, I did see his performance in the UEFA Youth League. I think he's a brilliant young footballer. But Mappin, the difference between first-team football and playing in the Youth League is huge. I would definitely have him in the squad. I would definitely get him a run out. If he starts, fine. But I'm not going to start using Youth League as a barometer. We do this all the time. Look at Troy Parrott. How many goals did Troy Parrott score at Youth League? And everyone kept telling me, Troy Parrott, we don't need to buy another striker. He can be our number 2. You know, Mikey Moore. Oh, my God, look what Mikey Moore does in the youth. Dorrington, look what he does in the youth. Yeah. it's a whole different ball game. Alfie Devine's another one. Will Lancashire. We had Judson Sot Bell. We've done this for years and years and years with people going just a bit too crazy. Just a bit too crazy. I'm all for him starting. But the problem is, again, it's twofold. Imagine Williams-Barnett starts and he's brilliant. Imagine the pressure our fans will then put on this kid. Right? Imagine the pressure that people put on him. Now, from what I've seen of him, yeah, he's a player. Absolutely. When I've watched him, I let me get the wording right for this because people hold these things against you. When I watch him, I think he's a better footballer than Archie Gray. I think he's a better footballer than Papa Sarr. I think he's a better player than Devine and Donnelly and all those boys. I still have to remember he is 16 years of age. And if you're going to play in the middle of the park for Tottenham Hotspur at the age of 16, it's a risk. Now, I'd love to see it. I'll caveat that. I'd love to see it. But imagine he comes in and does brilliantly. Right? He does brilliantly. People will start going, he should start against Wolves and he should be in the squad. And he should, and then you get into this realm of people then start blaming a manager. Oh, he hates youth because we've not seen Williams-Barnett again. It's a real balancing act, but I trust that whatever Thomas Frank does, I trust he will do it in the best interest of the club and what's in the best interest of going through, So we'll see. Listen, talented, very talented lad from what I've seen, of course. But I always have this cautious mindset. I see so many of these every year. So many of these. I remember we had it with Tom Carroll. Good, neat, tidy footballer. But Premier League's a different beast, right? We had it with Troy Parrott. Dane Scarlett was still getting it with, right? Ajayi, Mikey Moore. Look at Mikey Moore struggling at Rangers. The Rangers fans are saying he's not better than what they've got. It's difficult. And again, you've got people going, he's streaks ahead of all of them. How would you know this? How would you know this? You've only seen him playing youth football, right? Again, we're going to... I don't like it when fans do this. I don't like it because you're going to put so much pressure on the kid. Inevitably, you're going to put so much pressure on him, right? So much pressure. When that Dowman plays for Arsenal, people start talking about he's England's version of Messi. And you're like, whoa, whoa. Listen, that Max Dowman at Arsenal looks good, but he's a child. He is a child. He's young. Let them build, let them develop, let them grow. And we've done this too much. The same people 2 years ago. Do you remember we played some of the youth players, didn't we, in the pre-season? Like Donnelly, I think, played at left back, and Tyrese Hall. This window, Abbott. Dorrington, like people being, Vuskovic has to start, but based on what? So just listen, I would love it more than anybody if somebody like Thompson or Luca Williams-Barnett starts and does really well. But the difference for me is I keep my feet on the ground when people will lose their mind. Everybody wants to compare a 17, 18-year-old to a Messi, to a Gaza. He's the next Scholes. He's the next Gerrard. And people have no way of knowing this. It's just throwaway comment after throwaway comment. And you think to yourself, how many young players through the decades have you seen that do well and then fizzle away? How many? Most of them is the answer. The Harry Kanes are the exception to the rule, right? Aren't they? The Gareth Bales are the exception to the rule. The Rooneys, the Gerrards, the Declan Rices. These are the exception. For every Declan Rice that comes through at West Ham and ends up captaining England in certain games, there's 1,000 that don't make it across the country. But see, this is where people like Mappin, you get silly. Yeah, Williams Barnett definitely has something about him. But Mappin, that's the exact same words people like you say for the previous 30, 40 youngsters that we all raved about. But there's difference with this. Heard this with Mikey Moore for the last 2 years, but he's different. He's different. Heard this with Scarlett. He's different. He's different. This one's different. That one's different. Now, listen, as I said to you, hang on 1 second. What's this? This one's different. That one's different. And the problem is, we have no way of knowing that, right? He's different at that young age. Being different there and different here is two different things. We all hope they all make it. We all hope they all make it. Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, this reminds me, do you remember that famous video of Harry Redknapp being questioned by the West Ham fans about why he's let two of the young players go and he's kept Frank Lampard? Have you all seen that? And all these fans sitting there going, oh, but this boy. And Harry Redknapp's going, I'm telling you, this one's better. I'm telling you, he's a good player, that lad. I just don't think he's good enough for this level. And fans know better. This one. And Frank Lampard went on to be one of the best players the Premier League's ever seen. So, you've got a pinch of salt, right? So when I hear people who go, no, this one's better at youth level, how do you know? Are you going to every game? When have you seen him playing against men? You've got a pinch of salt. And what people will do is if Williams Barnett plays well on, if people see Williams Barnett have a great game against Doncaster, what they'll do is they'll immediately think that's every game he's going to play for Spurs. There you go. Oh my God, he's amazing. Let them breathe. Let them breathe. Let the youth breathe. Stop suffocating them. Ia said, not going to lie, Savva, people treat football as if it's an anomaly rather than treating it like it's a business. Young players being ready when we wouldn't apply that same logic to young employers at regular jobs. Absolutely. Because listen, as I said, people like Mappin, this one's different, E. That one's different. 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 How many of them make it? That percentage across the country, right? Youth players. Right? Like that. Like that. Listen, as I said, I used to work in youth football for Premier League clubs. I've seen it. You watch these youth teams play out on the pitch and you go, cool, look at him. God, he's good. Look at him. Where are they? Because the difference between there and there is huge, right? So we all hope a Williams Barnett comes through over the next couple of years. John Bostock, a wonderful example of this. John Bostock is a wonderful example of this. But how many of them have there been? How many have there been over the years where we do that, right? Yeah, Frank Lampard, 211 goals from midfield. It's insane. Absolutely. Yeah, listen, but all of those fans, right? All of those fans were telling Harry Redknapp that night he was wrong. Have you all seen the video? Have you all seen that video? It's a must watch. There's two lads that they name that played in the youth team with Frank Lampard. The fans were really annoyed at Harry for letting them go. And Harry's sitting up there going, listen, I see these guys on the training pitch every day. I know what they're capable of. I don't think he's ready. He's a good lad. He's going to go down there. Anyone know what happened to those players? Right. Because the level between youth and senior is huge. It's absolutely huge. See, look, again, you're just doing too much. Listen, I'm not, again, Mappin. I can't bring up your comments anymore. You just say silly things. Yeah, look, Pritchard's another one. Pritchard, Barnard, right? Slabber. I've seen them all. Jamie O'Hara, Livermore, Tanganga, Carl Walker-Peters. I've seen them all come through. Dennis Churkin. All of these people have come through, and everyone goes, he's great, he's great, he's got to start, he's got to start. It's just a little Marcus Edwards. Yeah, Kieran. Marcus Edwards is another one, right? Oh, this boy. He's now sitting at Burnley, not getting a game. Right? Oh my gosh, now you're showing your age there, Simo, aren't you? With Steve Slade. Wow. Simo, how old are you? It's just, the problem is, and it's the conversation, I always have this conversation, don't I, with Johnny and Lubo. It's not that I don't want all of them to be amazing, but I'm also aware that there is a huge difference. There is a huge, huge difference between that level and this level. As I said, look at Jamie Donnelly, right? Now, when I was round with Lubo the other day, Jamie Donnelly is blaming Mark Robbins for not starting Donnelly. Now, if he can't see how good he is, if he was that good, he'd be playing, wouldn't he? If he was that good, he'd be playing. But he can't get in at Stoke. You know? Yeah. Terry Dixon. God, there's a name. Gosh. Some of these names make me feel really old. Terry Dixon, another one. Oh, you want to see this? Haven't we got one in the youth team right now that we bought? Is it Melia? Can't remember his first. Is it Mason Melia? Something like that. So fans want, here's what fans would do if they had their way, right? Not all fans. They want more on the left wing. They want Donnelly in the 10, right? More left wing, Donnelly in the 10. They want Vuskovic at centre half. Luca William Barnett's in centre mid. Right? They want a JE on the right. You can't. That's not how it works. Hardly any of those will make it at Tottenham. I hate to be the guy. I hate to be that guy. Now, when I say make it, most of them will probably get a start or two for Spurs. But when I'm talking about making it, I'm talking about, you would say Andros Townsend made it, right? Andros Townsend, 100 odd games for Spurs. You would say he made it. While he was at Spurs, he got an England call up. You would say he made it, right? Winks and Skip did. Not to that level, but they did make it. But when I'm looking at the Donnellys and the Moores, and are they ever going to establish themselves as first-team footballers at Tottenham? Hardly any of them will. And that's the reality. That's the harsh, brutal reality of youth football. People don't like it. Fans hate it. They think it's negative. But that's the reality. And on top of that, look at who we're buying in front of them. Vuskovic, Sarr, Gray, Bergvall, Tell, Odegaard. Look at all the young players we're buying in front of the academy, right? There's not room for all of these layers. You can't have all the first-team senior players, the young players bought, the younger. Can't have all of them. Can't have all of them. Yeah, Madueke, interesting one, right? I like Madueke. I think he's a decent player. I do. I think he's a good player. But for whatever reason, didn't come through at Spurs. People will say now we made a mistake. Cool. I agree. I agree. In hindsight, we did. But it's not always that easy. Simo saying, I think Lancashire will have a good career. I agree. I don't think it will be at Spurs as well. I do. I think he'll have a good career. Championship, League One, probably score a decent amount of goals. But you know, the difference between playing for Oxford, you know, right? Like, and by the way, Oxford, great result. Anyone who saw them yesterday, great result. Oh, we started the Super Sticker train. 400 people in here. One Super Sticker. Big up to you, my man, Dean Law. Chew, bloody chew. Big up to you, Dean. Always very generous. Thank you, my man. And do you know what? If Dean can put in a Super Sticker, you lot can at least smash the like button and subscribe. We've had 2 subscribers all show. 4 subscribers all show, by the way. 173 likes. Come on, let's get that to 300, shall we? But even then, when we say this about Arsenal, how many games will Waneri start this year? Quality young player. How many games will he start? There you go. In the chat right now. How many games will Waneri start for Arsenal? Right? How many? How many will Lewis Skelly start for Arsenal? How many will Dowman start for Arsenal? Right? Because they've got a big squad now and they've signed a lot of players. So how many will they get? I don't know. You don't know. Let's see. Now, I think there's every chance one of these youth players absolutely makes it. Does it, Kane? Cool. Why not? Why not? In the Premier League era, we've had 3 that have been at that level. Sorry. Sol Campbell. Sorry, but Sol Campbell. Ledley King was the next decade. Harry Kane was the next decade. We're now waiting. Who's the next one? Who's the next one that's going to come through and be that level? I don't mean a Winks or a Skip, decent players that have a good career. I mean that level. Because let's be fair. Can we be honest? Sol Campbell was a world-class centre-half. Ledley King was a world-class centre-half. And Harry Kane's a world-class centre-forward. That's 3 worldies in 3 decades. Right? That's the levels we're talking about, how difficult it is. Now, let's do some math. In those 3 decades, and let's see, when did here you go. When did Sol Campbell make his Tottenham debut? Right. So Sol Campbell made his Tottenham debut the 5th of December, 1992. Right? 1992. If I'm not wrong, that's 33 years ago. Of those 33 years, how many young players do we think have been at Spurs and not made it? So for the Campbells, the Kings and the Kanes, how many below that have not made it? Hundreds and hundreds, right? Hundreds and hundreds. I remember him scoring, yeah. How many of those guys, right? Like throughout the years. And this is why when you've got the people like the Mappins telling everybody, this player's the best I've ever seen. I've heard this for decades. This kid. No. It's this kid. This kid. Right? So you think that's 2 centre-halves and 1 centre-forward of real quality that have made it in 35 years. Now, we could play the game. We could say how many games did Skip and Winks and O'Hara and Tommy Carroll and Jake Livermore and all of these, Andros Townsend, all these people. Sure. But I'm talking about the ones that really went on to cement a legacy. You know, how many games for England did Sol Campbell play? Part of the Invincibles. Sorry, I know we hate it. Kane, right? England's top goal scorer. Spurs' all-time top goal scorer. Ledley King, one of the best centre-halves this country's produced, right? So, you know, you've got to look at those numbers. Numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie, right? So for every Harry Kane, there's hundreds that don't make it. Hundreds, right? See, again, somebody has a class game, saying he's the next bit. We'll see. When I've watched him defend, I think he looks slow. I'm going to be honest. I think he needs time for me, but he's got potential. Carl saying Williams Barnett has a very high ceiling, but he needs to be given a chance for us to know, and not just one game. Sure, but he is 16 years of age, right? He is 16 years of age. By the way, when fans start talking about high ceilings, it does make me laugh. How high does the ceiling need to be? I don't know. How tall are you? Where are we? See, and this is how you know when you think people like Mappin. When I get annoyed with him, it's silly things. Like Madueke isn't a good footballer. Of course he's a good footballer. He plays for England and Arsenal. You're not a bad footballer if you play for England and Arsenal, right? Let's be fair. Watch him play. Yeah, watch him play. Price, so people spamming the Kane example are those same people telling you to drop out of college because it worked out. Right. Price, bang on. Price, absolutely bang on. Right? Absolutely bang on. Every time people want to make a point, they always go to the anomaly, don't they? They always go to the anomaly. So the other day, when I said, I don't rate Matisse Tell at all, right? Oh, you would have written off Gareth Bale. Sorry, why? What's Gareth Bale and Matisse Tell got to do with each other? What on earth have those two players got to do with each other? Like, it's mad. You do it with strikers. I remember doing it with Troy Parrott years ago. People going, oh, you would have written off Kane. Jesus. Not everyone's going to end up being Harry Kane. Not everyone. Hardly anyone will end up being. How many Harry Kanes are produced in the Premier League in a decade? There you go. In the last decade, all Premier League clubs, who's produced a player anywhere near the quality of Harry Kane? Oh, I'll sit and wait. How many can we name between us? Players that have come through. Now, the players I'm willing to go with straight away would be a Declan Rice, who's a top-class footballer. Bukayo Saka is a top-class footballer. Where are you going after that? Phil Foden? Where are you going after that? You see what I mean? How many players at that level come through? An Elise, sure, an Elise. How many get brought through from those youth teams that do it for a number of years? We could talk about Cole Palmer, who wants to. Right? We could talk about. No, I'm not giving. No. United are not getting. No. United don't get credit for Ronaldo. Oh, no. Bellingham. There you go. Bellingham. Come through at Birmingham. So you see what I mean? How many people bring through somebody of Harry Kane's quality? You know what I mean? It's not. These are not every day. And that's why when you look at the Premier League, most of the top players have come from abroad, right? Most of them have come from abroad because the numbers that are coming through the youth academies aren't what fans want them to be. And there's too many fans, for me, that rate too many young players too quick. Always. Lubo's the worst. Every young player is going to be amazing. It doesn't work like that. Doesn't. Yeah, I mean, obviously not in the last decade, but yeah, Rooney was definitely one of them, right? But you then get the next level for me. You then get the next level of good players that come through. The Ezes, the Sanchos, the Conor Gallaghers, the Guahis, those sort of players that come through. So, for example, Wharton. If Wharton continues his trajectory, in a few years we'll be going, oh, what a great player. Well done, Blackburn, right? But people want it too quick. People want it way too quick. Grealish is another one. Came through at Villa, had a great career, right? But there's not, you see what I mean? It's not like every club is bringing through 5, 10 every decade. It's tough. It's really, really tough to break through. It's very tough, especially when, as fans, all we want to see is more players bought. So, yeah, no. Listen, I mean, look, Kane is. I'm just talking about those top class players that have great Premier League careers at big clubs. That's what I'm talking about, right? Again, next level down for me is a Watkins and a Trippier. Good players, good senior pros. But no, Dele Alli again did he? Dele Alli didn't. He had a couple of good years and completely faded away. Kyle Walker definitely did. Kyle Walker definitely did. But you see what I mean? It's very tough how many come through those academies. And the problem is already in this show, already in the chat of this show, I've heard that Mikey Moore's definitely going to be amazing. Luca Williams-Barnett is the next big thing. Vuskovic is definitely going to have a career at Spurs, right? Tynan Thompson, right? Archie Gray. You've got to look at the numbers of how many make it. And the answer is that. Like that, it's that. Next tier down for me, Danny Rose. Next tier down for me. Big up, Danny. He said, Savva, don't you think because English teams don't give English players a chance due to the money in the Prem, which makes Danny, absolutely. Danny, I said the other day, mate, I feel they should implement a rule where of the match day squad of 20, 5 should be through the academy. 5 through the academy. not the 25 registered, the match day squad. Every club must have 5 players that have come through your academy. Danny, imagine what that would do. Imagine what that would do. So you now know that half your sub bench, or over half your sub bench, at a minimum, are going to have 5 players. Right? 5 players that have come through your academy that get given a chance because they must be on the bench at least. That's only me. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. But I don't know. I don't know if that's something that we can do. No, Palmer was mentioned, but I mean, Palmer's only been doing it for about 2 years. Like, I'm talking about players that have gone on and had a career like Harry Kane. I think everyone's completely not listened to what I said. It's those players that come out of those academies and for 10 years, they're at the top doing their thing. You know, yeah, like these guys back in the day, the Gerrards, the Fowlers, the Owens. Chris Lewis said, I'm sorry, Sav, but this Thomas Frank thing will not last, as he has not proven winner in his manager career. So I think you guys should go for the Cup or League Cup. Not good enough to do any more. Well, who's expecting him to do any more? Who's expecting him to win a league? We don't have the squad for that. Sorry, man. I have no idea what you're talking about, if I'm honest. No idea. So I just think that, again, maybe I should work with the FA. Right? Imagine if I turn around and said, right? If I turn around and said, right now, okay, 20 of your 20-man squad at the weekend, you can register whatever 25 you want, but of your 20-man squad, 5 players must have come through your academy, right? They must have come through your academy. Now, all of a sudden, on our bench, you're seeing Don, Mikey Moore, right? Now you're seeing Luca Williams-Barnett. Now you're seeing Will Lancashire. Now, right? Now, managers can make up to 5 subs. So if you've got, let's say none of them start, you've got 5 of those kids on the bench, they're going to get minutes. You're going to see, are they good enough? And if they're not, they're not. And if they are, they are. But I agree. Danny, I completely agree with you, man. I completely agree with you. Agreed, Ghosted. Agreed. No one's writing off Mikey Moore. But the problem, this is the problem. I'll say this. I love this conversation about youth football. This is the problem. If somebody doesn't wax lyrical about a young player, they're always told they're writing them off. I had this argument with Sean the other day. Oh, you're writing off Matisse Tell. I'm not writing him off. I've just seen nothing. Like, I've not seen anything to go, oh, brilliant. Not writing him off. He could have a great career in football. But at the moment, I don't see anything where I go, yeah, you should play for Tottenham. And it works the same. It works the same with the youth players. No one's writing Mikey Moore off. These are just silly throwaway comments. Mikey Moore has got to show it. Go to Rangers, be the best player. Go to Rangers and make the fans, this is the important one, go to Rangers and make the fans say, cool, we've got to buy that kid. He's amazing. Now, it's early days, but the Rangers fans at the moment are saying, oh, I'm not seeing anything in him. The Rangers fans at the moment, I can't speak for every Rangers fan, but what you're seeing is saying, well, we've got better kids than this in our academy. Now, I don't know if that's true. I don't watch Rangers Academy, but this is the problem. You've got too many fans who put them on a pedestal, and then when other people don't join them, oh, you're writing them off. Isn't it somewhere in the middle? Again, isn't it a lot of somewhere in the middle for me? Again, at the same time, if we put the England squad in the Premiership, I doubt they'd make the top 4. I think the England team would make the top 4 in the Premier League. There's too much talent in there. All depends who the manager is. 30-second Ryan and Savva, if you had to choose, would you rather go and grab an okay left winger in Jan or wait until the summer and get Semenyo? I mean, if you're offering me just an okay winger, then you wait, sure. For me, though, I think there's so many good left wingers out there. It shouldn't be okay or great. But listen, I said it at the beginning of the summer and I was mocked. I was laughed at by people in this chat. Said I'd love Semenyo. Oh, he's rubbish. Love Semenyo. Really would. It is what it is. Absolutely, Pedro. Absolutely. This is it. That is the 4 key words. Elite level adult football. This is the difference. Sure, good player. Good player. But you guys had to do that for PSR reasons, if I'm not wrong. If I'm wrong, tell me. Big up, by the way, the Super Sticker train has continued. We've got our second Super Sticker. Big up, Andy Lester. Chew, bloody chew. Big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. Really appreciate you. And Rob Welsh, a channel member for 5 months, said Lee Barnard, Darren Caskey, Peckart. We've all been told we're going to be world beaters. None of them were. Mate, I remember, was it Piscotti at the back? Piscotti? Or he was going to be great. All of them. That we're always told they're going to be amazing. Problem is, too many people think they know the difference between adult football and youth football. You know, it is what it is. Savva, that Eze passed Martinelli's goal. Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's what I expect. He's a very good player, is Eze. Very, very good player. So, listen, I think the youth conversation is always a good one, and I don't think it's had enough, if I'm brutally honest. I genuinely don't think that this conversation is had enough. But, you know, you just have to look. You just have to hang on one second. I'm just asking Side for the link. Have you got the link, please? You just have to look at the numbers that actually come through. You just have to look at the numbers of who comes through at most clubs. Chelsea being the anomaly. Chelsea over the last decade just bring through youth player after youth player. And somebody asked a question earlier about how do Barcelona do it? Definitely this week. Definitely this week. Last week was a bit of a shit show. Definitely this week. But Barcelona, why are Barcelona's academy so good? Because Barcelona's academy has been going for how long? And they don't change philosophy. It's not changing every couple of years. Barcelona, go and find the best kids in the area, train them in one way of playing. So they all grow up playing the same way. They know their roles. So what happens is Barcelona know that if they want to go and get a player from the youth team, they know that that player plays the same way as the first team. So if they want to go and get a number 8 from the youth team, the number 8 from the youth team knows exactly what to do. And that's a huge difference. Okay, 1 second. 1 second. Sorry, bear with me 1 second. But we'll keep going. Yeah, okay. Let's just I was just getting the link from Saeed. Going to start his show at about 10 past. So I'll send that link to myself. So bear with me 1 second, people. Yeah, and look, it's you know, when we're looking at the Ajax Academy, when you're looking at the Barcelona Academy, these teams have been doing it so well for so long. So it's difficult, right? It's difficult. It's difficult. James, big up to you, James. So Chelsea got pure talent from other youth academies around Europe at 14, 15. Been the same. Yeah, listen, they do. They pay big money. They get in the best youth, and then they bring it through. But whatever works, whatever needs to happen. Matt saying, did Anson and Barbie come for our youth? I was too young to remember. Barnby, yes. Barnby did. Darren Anston was Pompey, wasn't he? He came from Portsmouth, did Darren Anston. Big up to Tweak, who's a channel member for 6 months now, said Andy Turner, left winger, good player. I remember the story of Andy Turner is he turned around to Terry Venables and said, I'll be in your first team one day when he was like 15 or something. And he did. He got into the first team. But Andy Turner, again, all of these people, it's difficult. It's difficult, right, to get in there and stay in there. Chris said, I'd love to know what is Spurs fans' expectation this season. That's all. And what would you be happy with? For me, getting that top 6, have a decent cup run, and give a good account of ourselves in the Champions League. Simple. It is that simple for me. Where are we? Gurava said they identify players at a very early age. That's a yeah. Listen, look, absolutely. I mean, if you look at, let's look at Barcelona last night, right? Let's have a look at Barcelona last night. Where were they? They're in the Spanish league, La Liga, Barcelona. So last night, if you look at their squad, right? 1 second. If you look at their squad, right? Where did the players come from? Right? 1 second. I'm just double checking. So you've got Martin, who played at left back, right? Martin, who played at left back, right? Came through the Barcelona B, right? Pedri came through the Barcelona Academy, right? So that was 3 in the first team. Now, bearing in mind, Yamal was out, Gavi was out. Now look at the bench, right? Casado came on through the academy. Fermin Lopez came on through the academy, right? Bernal on the bench from the academy. Kabasi from the academy. Fernandez from the academy. Torrents through the academy. If I'm not wrong, I've just named 11 players out of the 20 that were via the academy. That is crazy. That is how you run an academy. And you watch most of those young players when they come on for Barcelona, they don't look out of place. These are top quality young players. Top quality young players. And other clubs don't have that. Not many do across the world. Who has that? Man, you don't. City have got a good academy, but City don't have that. Didn't Barnby come from Leeds? No. Let's have a look. Did Barnby come from Leeds? Maybe when he was... let's have a look. Hang on. Let me see if Nick Barnby. If you're right, you're right. No, Nick Barnby came through at Tottenham Hotspur. Let's have a look. Growing up on the west side of Hull, Barnby played for local team Springhead and National Tigers as a boy, showing talent from an early age. He ended he left school early to complete his studies at the Football Association School of Excellence, while also honing his skills for the professional game. His father, Jeff, who also a player in his younger days, became his son's advisor and agent as his skills began to attract the attention. Here you go. Barnby eventually signed for Tottenham Hotspur, joining them on leaving school in the summer of 1990. His first game for Tottenham was against Hull City at Boothferry Park in a testimonial match for Gareth Roberts, and he scored 2 goals. He turned professional in 1991, and he made his competitive debut against Sheffield Wednesday in 1992. And he made himself a regular at the age of 18 years of age. And let's have a look at Nick Barnby. Nick Barnby went on to play 108 games for Spurs, but then had a really good career, didn't he? Played for Middlesbrough 2 years in the Premier League, 4 years in the Premier League for Everton, 2 years in the Premier League for Liverpool, 2 years in the Premier League for Leeds, and then played in the Premier League for Hull, played for Forest, and also 23 caps for England. I mean, that was a good player to come through the academy, right? That's when you look and go, yeah, good career, good young player, come through the academy and done well. Let me see a Pedri, but maybe did Pedri. Let's have a look. Where is Pedri? Pedri. I mean, Pedri came through. He came from Las Palmas. Sorry, granted. About the age of 16, I believe he moved to Barcelona. So yeah, you get my drift, right? You get my drift. Like these young kids that are coming through from such a young age, but. So many good young players coming through at Barcelona. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Yeah, I like Barnby. I thought Barnby did well. I thought Nick Barnby did very well. Chris said, to be fair, Savva, Arsenal producing really good youngsters, but Arteta not using them very well. Okay, so here's the question for you. From yesterday's game, who does, again, I'm not sticking up for Arsenal here. I don't care. But who does he drop? Yesterday, we're talking about the young players at Arsenal, right? So we're talking about Lewis Skelly, Waneri, and Dowman. Who do those 3 players start in front of the players that played yesterday? It's very difficult. When you're saying he's not using them very well, who do they start in front of? It's very difficult. You look now at Arsenal. Look at Waneri. Arsenal have got Madueke, Saka, Eze, Odegaard, Martinelli, and I'm missing one, and Trossard. Who does Waneri start in front of out of that 6? Very tough. Very, very tough to get in front of that level of footballer. It's and this is the thing, when people say, oh, Arteta didn't do this very well with you, what would you have done? What did he do? Does he turn around to Martinelli and go, no, Waneri's starting in front of you? It's very difficult, right? And this is where football fans don't give anywhere near enough credit to managers. Forget whether it's Arteta we're talking about or not. It's very tough. Very, very tough to do that. Especially when managers are under such pressure. Because the average, if I'm not wrong, hang on, let's see. What's the average managerial time in the Premier League? Here you go. So the average tenure in the Premier League is 1.4 years, right? In 1.4 years as a manager at a club, are you sitting there thinking, right, I'll tell you what I've got to do for my one and only year, develop all these youth players for the next guy? Or are you thinking about results? It's a tough one, right? I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. It's very, very tough. It's very, very tough when you are a manager. So it goes back to what I said about Alan Kirbishley. Said everyone wants to see the youth. If I play the youth and we don't win, they all want me sacked. It's very, very tough. And this is why it's very, very difficult to see that number coming through. Yeah, but okay, so yesterday, look at the players that came on for Arsenal off the bench. Bukayo Saka, Eze, Martinelli. Look at the players coming off the bench. And someone's going to turn around to him and go, oh, you should have brought on a teenager instead. Very difficult. Now, Waneri came on for a few minutes, right? But it's very difficult to get them that game time, those minutes. And this is why I always think if you're a young player, it's not always great being at the best clubs. Sometimes you want to come through at a Crystal Palace, don't you? You want to come through at a Blackburn like Adam Wharton, right? You want to come through at Leeds United. It's not always the best thing having the best young players at a big club because they've got so many bodies to step over. It's a very difficult balancing act. But I know we don't care about that, but it is what it is. Let's have a look, shall we? I saw somebody say unpopular opinion. I always like an unpopular opinion. Unpopular opinion. Danny Rose was an overrated hype job, making a living from his screamer against Arsenal. Oof. Now, Danny Rose for me was a good player. I do think he was overhyped, but I think he was a good player. I think he did a really good job. It was part of a very good back four for a couple of years. For me, never had the longevity. For me, didn't quite do it over enough years. But for that period, he was very good. So I do think this is a bit harsh, but I kind of understand what you're saying. Daniel does not agree with you. And I said, Matt, this is unpopular because he was part of the best back four in the whole of Europe for 2 years. Okay, similar to what I said. Yeah, so, hey, it's each to their own. Savva, every youth coming through makes your squad better. Levy loaned our youth last year. That's when you make injuries or they bomb. Yeah, but this isn't true. Just bringing through your youth players doesn't make your squad better unless they're good enough. This is where fans, again, try stepping away from being a football fan and now think about it from a professional football club's point of view. You can't just say, all these young kids make our squad better. You don't know that. If they're not at that level, then they don't. Billy said, at home, I would have gone into the match with an attacking mindset on the front foot instead of Arteta, who went into City with a defensive mindset. Did he? Philly, I've got to disagree with this completely. That's not what happened yesterday. Man City, Arsenal were all over Man City. Arsenal were all over Man City. This is not true. Sorry, mate. You're watching a completely different game. Listen, this isn't about sticking up for Arsenal. Arsenal dominated that game from start to finish yesterday. Come on, man. That's not true at all. Mapping, because they all see you act like an idiot. Mapping. Notice everything you say is antagonistic mapping. We all see what you do. If somebody says it's blue, you say it's yellow. We all see what you do. You say antagonistic things and the mods get annoyed with you. So no, sorry. You will get timed out if you act like an idiot. Where are we? Absolutely. Andy, absolutely. All of these young players, right? Right? All of these young players. Look how many have left Arsenal recently, right? To go and get games. And Nketiah, Emil Smith-Rowe, Reece Nelson, right? Yada, yada, yada. Look how many leave Spurs to go and get a game. Mikey Moore, Jamie Dunn, can't get games. Look how many have left Man City. I mean, we could be here all day doing this. Chelsea, Man United. Yes, absolutely. That is exactly what happens, Andy. Absolutely. How could Danny Rose be overrated when statistically he's been part of the 1% of our academy graduates? Yeah, we bought him from Leeds, but I get your point. I think Danny Rose was good. I think he was a good player. I don't go overboard about him. I think he was good. And for a couple of years, he was great. But it is what it is, right? Yeah, I thought City were the defensive ones yesterday. I'm sorry, Philly. I can't agree with that, mate. I think Man City, we saw a different side to them yesterday, didn't we? Man City gave Arsenal a taste of their own medicine. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. It was interesting to see, wasn't it? Mapping, you got time out for saying it's music to your ears that Motorwecking might have an ACL. Yeah, that sort of talk. What are we doing there, my man? That's ridiculous if you said that. I haven't seen it, but if you said that, yeah, but see, again, I'll block you if you do this. Grow up. I'm not celebrating any human being getting injured. That is ridiculous. What is wrong with you? Celebrate players getting injured. I don't care what club they play for. You don't celebrate that. Totally off point, but doesn't Haaland look the best version of himself at the moment? He looks every bit the world's best. He does. I told you, right? Man City now play a bit more pragmatic. And what you're seeing is how good his hold-up play is. All these people who went, if he's not scoring, he don't do anything. His hold-up play is excellent. Bringing others into the game, spinning off, scoring. He is superb. He is superb, this guy. And the amount of shit he gets is ridiculous. He is the world. He's class. He is absolute class. It is what it is, though. Yeah, subdue. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. ACLs. Come on. I don't wish that on anybody. Whether they play for Arsenal, Chelsea, United, Spurs, whoever, this is their career. This is their career. Nah, not for me. I don't think he's the best player in the world. Nah, not for me. Not for me. To be the best player in the world, I need to see him turn up in the biggest of games. Not for me by a long shot, I'm afraid, Dylan. Luca Williams-Barnett. Harris. Luca Williams-Barnett. When Eze or Ethan Moneri who offer creativity is on the bench instead of Marino, that's defensive. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Arsenal were all over them from minute one. Come on, Philly. This is ridiculous. Sorry, mate. I love you, but this is now just saying silly things for silly things' sake. Let's have a look back at that game yesterday, shall we? Let's see how wrong you were. Right. Here we go. In that first half, Arsenal had 67% of possession and 6 shots to Man City's 33% and 3 shots, right? In the second half, they had 67% possession and 8 shots. Not one bit of Arsenal played defensive yesterday. That is categorically wrong. But how? How? They dominated the whole thing. What are we doing? Sorry, what game were people watching? In the entire match, Arsenal had 68% possession, 14 shots and 5 on target. What part of that is defensive? They were all over them, whoever was on the pitch. What are we doing? Grav, I didn't say he wasn't world class. I didn't say Kane wasn't world class. Right? I said he's not the best player in the world. Dude, I have no idea what the chat was watching if they're thinking Arsenal went defensive. I have no idea at all. Like, listen, this is mad. Anyway, guys and girls, mate, hit me up as well. We need to do some streaming together. Hit me up. Get my number off. Get my number off Sean. Send me a message, bro. Savva, he played 3 defensive midfielders and 4 centre backs. Subamendi's not a defensive midfielder. Mika Marino's not a defensive midfielder. That's what? I've got no idea what's going on here. I've got no idea what game people were watching. Guys, girls, I'm going to send you over. I'm going to send you over to Saeed's channel. I'm joining there right now. So please, when you get over there, please turn around and say Savva Raid. Please, please, please say Savva Raid. Thank you very much. Much love. Big up to Tweak as well. Big up to you, my man. Take care. I'll be back at 3 p.m. with Charlie for the 60 Minutes in Football, where we'll be talking about Man City, Arsenal, amongst the other games. Take care. Much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.